I'm just watching the sapsucker hole, and we're going to try the 2x teleconverter today. Hey guys, Gary from Unfrequented World. I was just going to take you guys on a bushwalk today, and it started raining. So we're just out here under the four-wheeler shed, and I want to talk to you guys about something super important. I watch a lot of David Paulides and the Missing 411, and I honestly, truly believe that out of these strange cases that he presents, 90% of those still are people who have just wandered off and gotten lost on the trail. And as time progresses, stranger things happen. Hypothermia sets in, they take off clothes and things like that. We can avoid all of that, guys. There's one thing you can do. If, spread this around. People should know this. Lots of people think they're good in the bush because they've walked lots of trails. Get off into the bush and see what happens, right? So there's one thing that you need to do, and that is stop immediately, okay? If you think of it this way, if you walk for 10 minutes and you don't realize, I don't know where I am, you can cover a fair amount of distance, okay? So if you're 200-300 yards off the trail, that's okay. You need to stop. What's going to happen when you get lost is you are going to panic. If you have never had a panic attack, you won't understand what this is. Fortunately or unfortunately, I've dealt with anxiety my whole life, and I do have panic attacks. I used to get them when I was a teenager all the time. So I know what a panic attack is, and I've learned how to kind of calm myself down and deal with it. But if you don't get panic attacks, you're a normal person, yay, good for you. What's going to happen when you get lost? You look up, you realize, oh crap, I have no idea where I am and I'm in the middle of the bush. You are going to panic. It's a natural response. Your heartbeat is going to start going crazy. You're not going to be able to see well. Your vision's going to tunnel in. You're going to start sweating. You're going to be like in a rush to figure out where's the trail, where was I, oh my goodness. You're not going to think clearly. It's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. So the piece of advice that I'm going to tell you, which will save your life right now, is stop. Wherever you are, that is your safe spot, okay? If you don't leave that spot, I don't know what Gage is barking at. I don't see anything. If you don't leave that spot, guys, I guarantee you 99% of the time they're going to find you in one day. Okay? What are the repercussions of that? Yeah, it might be a little embarrassing that you got lost. You're going to survive, okay? That's surprisingly, when I ask my classes, why would you keep moving? Why do you think they come up with the in their head, it would be embarrassing to their employer to say, well, this guy got lost. I wouldn't want people to know that I couldn't handle myself in the bush. I would want to try to find my own way out. And that's what gets you into trouble. Wherever you are is now your safe spot, okay? You don't want to leave that spot. So, if people are on the trail behind you or come down the trail behind you and you yell or they yell, you're still going to hear them. Probably, okay? Unless you went a long ways before you realized you were lost. And that can happen. Either way, wherever you are, you stop. Now, you're going to build something here in this spot, okay? So you've got 100 feet around you that you can move and still not lose that spot, right? So you're going to get some logs, some sticks, whatever. You're going to build yourself something that you can see and mark as your spot. And then from there, you can start exploring a little bit. You're going to go at 100 feet here, 100 feet in each direction. Can I see the trail or can I find where I came from by doing that? But you want to build something so that you know where you are, okay? Guys always rely on their phone. Oh, I've got an app, a GPS app on my phone. That's not going to save you guys. Up here in Canada, especially here in rural Northern Ontario, I can go 100 yards into the bush and lose cell signal, okay? So I always carry a compass with me and a GPS. An old school hard satellite GPS, okay? That thing never fails. Mine is almost 10 years old. Probably a little sketchy and I should buy a new one, but it will save your life. Once you have that spot, guys, if you don't move out of it, they're gonna come to you, they're gonna find you. So all you need to do is make yourself a little bit of cover and stay dry and warm, and hopefully you've brought snacks, something to eat for the night. You might have to spend one night in the bush, but I guarantee you, they'll find you guys within one day, okay? Now, the other percent that they're not gonna find are if you've gone down into a valley or somewhere where they can't access it or see it very clearly, if the bush is very, very dense, then you might want to think about moving to an open, higher ground, somewhere where they can see you. But use the same rule. Keep an eye on your safe spot and try to figure out, you know, if I come 100 yards this way and I keep coming at 100 yards at a time, do I find where I came from? Do I find an opening, a clearing that is a better safe spot, okay? You don't want to go any more than a couple 100 yards further, okay? Because if you're going in the wrong direction from the trail, now instead of being 300 yards, you're 500 yards from the trail. Geraldine Largay. This case was covered by David Paulides, hiking the Appalachian Trail, okay? This poor woman went off trail to go to the washroom. How far do you have to go off the trail to go to the washroom? If it were me, I wouldn't go more than the 100 meters. I don't know how far she went. Not a laughing matter, really, because this woman died. But she had all of her gear with her, and she had a cell phone, and she was texting her husband. Okay, had she just stopped immediately where she went to the washroom and said, hey, I'm lost, they would have found her within a day. She kept moving, and within a few hours, she was texting her husband saying, I'm lost, I'm 3 or 4 miles, she calculated, or figured, off the trail. Well, guess what, guys? At 3 or 4 miles, they're probably not going to find you, and in this case, they didn't find her. They found her like a year later. She had set up her tent, she had wrote in a journal, she died there. Had she just stopped, they would have found her. So that's, you know, that's the best advice I can give you guys. If you think of distances that you travel when you get off trail and you're lost. So say you leave the trail to go to the washroom, right? What are you, 100 meters, 100 yards off the trail? Probably. Probably less. If you're a guy, you're going to go 10 feet, right? Okay, so if we think about that, you can easily yell 100 yards with the bush. That's going to mute the sound a little bit, but people are still going to hear you. 200, 300 yards, if you yell as loud as you can still hear 300 yards in dense forest, okay? But any more than that, guys, probably not going to hear you. So if you are stopped, lost somewhere on the trail, and you know you're only 10 minutes from where you were, I would make a routine as well to make noise, okay? Every hour on the hour, they'll teach you, if you have a rifle, to shoot consecutive shots. So you need to have a lot of ammunition with you. Guys will bring a pack of 8 shells with them. Well, I only need 8 to shoot a deer. Yeah, but if you get lost, you've only got 2.5 hours worth of signaling for help, okay? Now, what we do in our group is we have reduced that number, and we talk about shooting 2 shots on the hour. And if you run low on shells, you shoot 1 shot on the hour. So if we know we have a guy who isn't back at camp, we listen at that hour mark for shots. Okay, even 1 shot, we know that's probably him on the hour. So you always want to make sure you have a watch or a time device with you as well. That's very important too, okay? Don't rely on your cell phone. Up here in Canada, maybe there's better coverage in the USA, but up here in Canada, it's terrible. When I go out to my dad's house, you guys have seen, there is no cell coverage. My dad cannot use a cell phone out there. Where I hunt, where I grew up, there is no cell service. When you get out of the vehicle, the first thing you do when you get in the bush, take your GPS out, turn it on, let the signal lock down to where you are, and put a marker. And I always put a truck marker right there. Then you can turn your GPS off. You don't need it on. You can go walk 5 miles in any direction, 20 miles in any direction. If you get lost or need help getting back to the truck, that's when you turn the GPS back on and go return to point. And all you got to do, there's an arrow on your screen, you follow that arrow back to your vehicle. So you're saving battery. You don't need your GPS on the whole time. Unless you want to mark your tracks, your trail, you can do that. But it's eating battery, and I don't like to do that because I like to save my GPS for emergency use. If I need to get out of here, this has 24 hours of battery power. I'm going to get out of here. And what I do when I'm using the GPS is I will turn it on, and I will, if I need to, if I'm close enough, I will follow right back to my vehicle. I'll leave it on the entire time. If I'm worried about battery power, I will just check a direction, maybe walk 200-300 yards, look at the map that's on there, memorize it in my head, turn it off, and I'm going in the right direction. I might walk half an hour, I'll turn it back on, and then I keep going back towards the truck. That way I'm saving battery. That's a very important lesson. Same thing with lights, guys. Don't leave your lights on all night, okay? If you have a flashlight, just an hour here or there. It's going to sound weird, but sometimes you just need to push the darkness back, right? I worked underground for years, and lights are another important thing, just like a GPS. You save the battery in it as long as you can, okay? And it's worse if you follow someone. So there's another tip, guys. Never just blindly follow someone who says, oh, I know where we're going. We're hiking into this lake. Do not just follow someone. Well, if that guy has a heart attack, same thing out on the trail, right? If the person you're traveling with has a heart attack or gets injured, can't take you in or any further or can't take you out, what do? Now you're stuck, you're stranded. So never just rely on somebody else. That's another huge piece of advice I can give you guys, okay? Be self-reliant. Learn the trail before you go in. Learn the route, the markers, this lake, that mountain, you know, this swamp, whatever it is. Know your way in and out on your own. Because it might come down to you having to pull that other person out with you or leave them and go get help. When they send out people to look for you guys, it's not going to be a dozen people. It's going to be 100 people. They will find you. As long as you've set up a nice spot that they can see you, you're listening, paying attention, you know, they're probably not going to come for you at night. Not the first night anyway. It'll probably be the next day. So you can get a couple hours sleep, okay? You want to make sure that you're rested and paying attention and listening and making your noise every hour on the hour, whatever it is, whether it's banging sticks, if you got a pot, you know, a rifle, whatever it is, but pay attention, they will find you. You got turned around, it happens to the best of us. You want to come out. You might only have to spend one night in the bush. You will. I'm telling you guys, one night is all you would spend in the bush if you stop and wait.